Ladies, I think there's a few lessons we could learn from Ashanti. With her new show going on with her and Nelly, they were in a conversation about where they're going to live. She wants to live in New York, he wants to stay in St. Louis. Throughout the show, you kind of see her light dim, her becoming more quiet, really trying to be a supportive wife, but really closing her throat chakra, not speaking up as much. And I think the lesson in all of this is really first and foremost, like, control the controllables and have hard conversations before marriage. Lust, love, nostalgic old memories are not enough. And for him, a man that already has multiple children already, for him to say the newborn stuff is her and, he won't really hop in until the baby is talking and can say, I want to go to the bathroom, speaks volumes. I think this is the dream couple for a lot of Black women, a lot of women of color. They get a lot of fanfare. And I think there are some yellow and red flags. And I think there's also some key lessons to learn. I watched the show and I think I'm going to do a series on this. But before I do, put in the comments, do you want me to do the series? Follow me and also comment what aha moments are coming up for you in watching the show.
I'm going to say this. Ashanti settled for Nelly. She settled for Nelly because there is absolutely no way that she, Nelly, her mama, or whoever else is going to sit there and convince me that sis is actually happy being with him, because you're not in a real marriage, or it seems like a real cohesive partnership where both of y'all are doing work in the relationship. In fact, he barely participates in the relationship. He already ran down the rules and explained to her that when she have that baby, I'm not getting up in the middle of the night. I'm not changing Pampers or anything. This is supposed to be your wife. This is her first child. You ain't new to this. She is. And you can't support your wife during postpartum. Make sure she's well rested and getting her rest, because the baby's already going to be attached to her. She's breastfeeding. And you can't get up to check on your child or to change diapers? You could tell that she was bothered in her response when she was like, I just think that's kind of fucking, you could tell she probably wanted to cuss him out. I think that's kind of whack that you could just sit there and sleep through a crying child and not want to get up and get your own son. That's what she should have said. Nelly is a real piece of work. And it's like the audacity, because this girl settled for you. And I feel like in a way it was because of what people were saying that made her say, well, I'm spinning the block. He's familiar. He's a familiar place. So I'm going to just land here, right? Because y'all was talking about her being in her 40s, living her best life and being child free. Like that was failures for her as a woman. Now it makes all the sense when her sister had put out that cryptic message about how, I guess, the pressures of societal norms and trying to fit into society with a husband and a wife and that cryptic message her sister put out makes sense now, because now you get to see that this relationship is a mess, and I don't think they're going to make it. This is not going to be an everlasting marriage, because Nelly is about to run that girl into the ground. When I tell y'all, give it a year or two, and Ashanti is going to be looking haggard, because sis already look tired and depleted right now. Then the episode about the inauguration, and you get her mother sitting there talking about how her father was heavy in the civil rights movement and how he got back home to their town and was doing all this work. And it was like he just disregarded all that shit and said, fuck it, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to do it. And you could tell that Ashanti really didn't want to. And she was like, well, it's different from being a girlfriend. I'm a wife now. And as a wife, I would have looked at my husband and said, you must be outside your motherfucking mind if you think you about to get up there and do that motherfucking racist ass inauguration. Bending to social norms and constructs such as needing to be married, needing to be validated by a man so badly is going to be the death of so many of us. Y'all know that challenge that was just recently going around. It's like every time I think about being in a relationship, I'm reminded of how I looked my last relationship. That's going to be Ashanti. That we are seeing the transformation, y'all. That's going to be, this man is going to drain sis out of all her fucking energy. When we look at how Ashanti was prior to Nelly, badass, baddie, T, body was T, living her best life. Every birthday she said, I spent on an island. My birthdays, I was on an island every birthday. To now, barely making it, barely being able to get up and get out of bed, barely wanting to go and do a performance, just looking tired and ran down. She is in a marriage all by herself. She's married. He isn't. Ashanti is married. Shanti is married. Nelly is not. She need to divorce that man. Ashanti, please, divorce that man while you can. Get out now.
I absolutely hate that Nelly and Ashanti are doing this show. I think that they are exposing way too much of their business. They have opened themselves up for criticism, and we're criticizing their asses, and rightfully so. The way that these red flags are just flagging throughout every single episode, I really cannot believe that my good Libra sis has subjected herself to this foolishness and committed her life to this man. I mean, I already feel some type of way about bending the block. That has never been something that I personally believed in. It's never been something that I have personally done, and this is why. So from episode 1, I feel like Nelly just doesn't have the attitude of a married man. And the reason I say that is because marriage requires compromise. We know that marriage requires commitment, but we don't think about the compromise that it requires. To have a my way or the highway attitude with anything within your marriage, to me, is a red flag. That means that you are not willing to meet your partner halfway. In this case, when it comes to where they're going to live, which has been a constant topic of conversation, Nelly has made it very clear, and apparently he's been making it clear, that he's not living in New York. I understand people are like, well, he set his boundaries, he let her know ahead of time, he doesn't want to live in New York. I get that. However, to not be willing to bend a little bit for your newborn baby, to me, is unacceptable. I don't think that he, needs to live in New York for the rest of his life, but I think that you would be okay for 6 months or a year until your baby is a little bit more independent, especially when you've made it equally clear that you ain't got nothing for that baby. To say those words is just offensive, first of all. I get that some men are not comfortable with babies, but this ain't his first baby. This is number 3. I get that some men don't feel like it's their duty to change the diapers, especially when they are providing in other ways. However, being able to afford a nanny, a night nurse, au pair, whatever you can afford for your family does not negate the need for you to provide partnership. And partnership means we're a team. We're each going to play our role, and your role is not just paying the bills. Ashanti can afford to hire her own nannies, right? So it's not like you're doing something for her that she can't do for herself. The point is, nobody wants to feel alone with a newborn. If you see your partner struggling, you should be willing to step it up. I am going to say, though, it does seem like he didn't really want this baby. The only reason I say that is because when they mention a second baby, he says, no, I'm not on board with that yet. I'm going to need a little bit more convincing. So many of these comments that he's making, I feel like you're not supposed to say this on camera. That is supposed to be kept between you and your wife. And if she is okay with that, cool. But when people like me and the rest of these strangers get to see it, we feel some type of way about it. You shouldn't need to be convinced to have a baby. You either want a baby or you don't want a baby. And if you don't want a baby, don't have a baby. But don't have a baby and then not want to be a daddy. That's unacceptable, regardless of how much money you have. A true provider provides more than just bill money, okay? He should be providing partnership, which brings me to what I feel like was one of the biggest red flags. This one is something I haven't seen many people talking about. So when they were talking about being together the first time and how, he had planned on proposing 11 years ago, he says, at that time, I just wasn't really ready for marriage. Then he says, but I think it's going to work this time. Ooh, I wanted to smack him through the... Listen, even if you think, please don't say that. Please don't give any inkling of doubt in this marriage that you are currently in. Because what do you mean I think it's going to work this time and y'all done already pledged your lives to each other? Ashanti, blink twice. We can't save you, sis, but I hate that y'all did this. I hate that we are in your business. I hate that I'm triggered by every episode. Please know who you are marrying.
I knew I wasn't wrong for saying that Ashanti should not have gotten back with Nelly because look, that man is embarrassing her already. Not only do he leave for months on end, okay, and leave her to take care of a newborn by herself, but he also said that it's a blessing that he's able to sleep through his son crying in the middle of the night. He said that he told her before she decided to kick him under the table that he will not be helping with the diaper changes. He's basically sticking to the traditional marriage and just providing. But he said that as soon as the baby starts walking and talking and communicating what he needs and what he wants, that's when he's going to step in. That lady is a married single mother, and I don't like that for her. But girl, he showed you who the fuck he was. Why would you want to still be with him? Could never, ever, ever be me. Because if I was abortionable weeks pregnant, I would have left that man and I would have sent that baby. This man is a walking red flag, and I hate that she gave him a child. Mind you, this is her first child. So not only is he a neglectful dad, he's also a Trump supporter, okay? And he's also allegedly a cheater. I would have left that man so fast his fucking head would have spin.
That's a lie. Well, listen, it's all you. I ain't gonna even lie. You know, I ain't got nothing for him. Until he can say, I'm hungry, until he can say, I need to use the bathroom, it's gonna be a lot here. But as soon as he started walking, I told him, I said, enjoy it. Because as soon as he gets to walking and talking, he went to cruise.
I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Some men don't want to be fathers. They want you to be a mother. The baby is her responsibility. Now she's stuck and can't move around as freely as he can. I talked about recently in a video, it's not enough that a man wants to be a father. You need to ask him what kind of father that he plans to be. Does he plan to be an active, hands-on father, or does he plan to leave you on your own? Because I would much rather say a man lied to me than to say I never asked. I think the issue that they're having is proof that there weren't enough conversations being had prior to them getting married and having a child. Because why are you just now finding out he's the kind of dad that doesn't plan to stay up with you at night or do any bottle feedings or changing any diapers, that you were going to be alone for the first couple years of having that child? How are you just now finding out that he wants to live in St. Louis and not in New York where you have family and friends who can help you with the baby? How are you just now finding out all of these huge things that are vital to your life together? What were you doing during the dating process if you don't know any of this?
That boy Nelly said, look, Ashanti, I love you. You're my wife. We're having a child together. This is amazing. I love my family. But until that child can walk and talk, you're going to be a single mother. Boy said, I ain't feeding it. I ain't changing no diapers. I ain't holding it when it's crying. I ain't waking up out my sleep when it's crying. It is all you. Until that baby can tell me, Dad, I'm hungry. Dad, I need to go to the bathroom. Dad, I want to go shoot basketball. I don't want nothing to do with it. Now, I love you, and I love the baby, but I'm not helping with nothing. You're a single mother for the next 3 years, okay? That's just what it is, but I love you. But I love you, and I love our child, okay? Okay, I wouldn't have it any other way, but that baby is all you. 3 years, all you. I don't want nothing to do with that baby until they can hang out, okay? Till I can vocally hear what's right or wrong with that baby, all right? But I love you. Don't you forget, I love you and I love that baby. But you just enjoy single motherhood for the first 3 years. But I love you. But I love you.
Nelly needs to be arrested today. And then shortly after in hell. That man basically looked at Ashanti and said, until the baby's about 3, keep it the fuck out my face. I don't have nothing for it. He said, until that motherfucker can say I'm hungry and walk around, I'm cool, mama. When I say men are some of the scariest creatures that walk this earth, the fact that you can be with a woman, y'all was together for 10 years, broke up 2013 due to infidelity and insecurity, right? He finally takes your black ass back another decade later. The first thing you do is get her pregnant. And it's almost like, yeah, bitch, try to leave again. Ho. It's actually quite serious. There really is 2 types of baby fathers. You get the baby, 3 types. You get the one that actually love you and want to have to get with you. You get the one that gets you pregnant on accident. And then you get the one that gets you pregnant because he hates you. That's the most dangerous baby daddy of all. Because all that baby is a means to stay in contact so you don't go too far away, right? It's a means to be able to fuck your day up any chance he can get for the rest of y'all's living lives. Y'all always be saying till 18, till 18. So y'all not gonna be at the baby marriage? Y'all not gonna be at the baby's further graduate? It's for the rest of your life. That is the definition of, if I can't have her, nobody can. Y'all must start paying for your crimes against humanity. Really.
See, the thing about Ashanti and Nelly is that Nelly chased Ashanti until he got what he wanted, and he got her. Now he doesn't have to pretend who he is anymore. Not only that, this is just a perfect example of why marriage counseling needs to be done before two people get together, because you really don't know if that person's for you. And this is another example of a celebrity couple who are not rich enough to hide the flaws in their marriage. I'm a wholehearted believer that there are a lot of couples, a lot of celebrity couples that are very famous, married, but they have enough money to hide all of the cheating, all of the inconsistencies in their marriage and whatnot. They don't have that type of money. In fact, they have to play on that, on the inconsistencies, on the disagreements, on the infidelity, because they actually need the money. And Ashanti settled, and I'm not going to say that he manipulated or gaslight her. She's seen him for what he was. Maybe he pillow talked her a little bit, and she fell right into it. But now she has the man that's been chasing her all this time, and you see it's not all it's cracked up to be. So when somebody does that, I don't care if you met this person when you were 17 and y'all are now 42 years old, you know what I'm saying, 46, there's a reason for one why that man is still single, for one. And number two, there's a reason why that man is chasing you still, because he just wanted the prize. And now that he's gotten the prize, he don't have to pretend anymore. He don't.
Imagine a man gets on top of you with teeth like the Cheshire Cat and 4.5, 5, if we want to be generous, inches of nerve pumping all up inside of you. And this is the second go round. The nigga played in your face the first time. And then he gives you a baby. And then on national TV, he tells you, listen, you holler at me about this kid when he can walk and when he can say he ready to go to the bathroom. And out of the two of you, I think this is maybe his 5th time raising a child. He is the more experienced parent in his 50s. Say no young whippersnapper. It's an old nigga talking about he ain't changing no goddamn me. You're gonna be changing his diapers. Huh? You're gonna be changing his diapers. Did you hear what I said? And he ain't gonna change the baby's diapers. First of all, niggas who get brush cuts and get they line on the side like that, I don't like it. That choice alone, I don't like how the discernment shows up. But imagine all that body on top of you, huffing and puffing and blowing your house down. And you want to talk about you ain't changing no diapers for your child, sir? You'll change Trump's diaper, nigga. I'm not pleased. I'm not watching that show. These are just the clips I've seen. But that's a nasty game. That's a nasty game. And then you let Ashanti get pregnant. We know how a woman's voice is affected by pregnancy. Ashanti can't lose no range. Let this be the last time you put a baby up inside her, sir. Her voice cannot be going down, baby, on the roller coaster. She don't. Mama has to keep what she has. And I love my sis. I just want to say that. Love her down. But bitch, that meme of That video of her singing Sweet Thing and her going in for that note, bitch, will forever leave me low. And that Tamar, she'll come in with a review where she was like, bitch, what note is Ashanti singing to where she has to look like that? Nelly, stop playing with my sister. Stop playing with my niece. You was not even all up in her guts. You were at the door of her guts, leaving your seed, and now you don't want to change diapers. Boy, fuck you.
I think one thing that people are not pointing out about the Nelly and Ashanti show is that when people are done raising kids, they feel like they're done raising kids. I'll give you another example. Sofia Vergara did not want to divorce her husband, but she didn't have a choice because she was done raising kids. Her son was in his 30s and he wanted her to start over and have a newborn. She was in her 40s. She's like, I'm not willing to do that. I don't want to start over. I've already raised my son. I'm ready for grandkids. I'm not ready for more kids. Nelly is 50, and I'm not saying he's right or wrong. Like, there's really no, it is what it is, but he's done raising kids. And I think he loves Ashanti in his own way, and he knew she wanted to be a mother, so they decided to have a baby together with the understanding that he was not going to be hands-on. And since she is a first-time mom, it's easy to agree to stuff like that until the baby gets here. And then it's like, whoa, this is hard. Like, even with nannies, it's hard. You want the father to be present. You want the father to be hands-on. Not just men that feel this way. There's women too. It's all type of people that's just like, I don't want to start over. My kids are grown. I don't want to start over with the potty training and the diapers and the learning how to walk and talk. I don't want to do that all over. It's hard. It's hard work. And it's a commitment. And I just don't think she realized probably what she was signing up for. So those are my thoughts.
That boy Nelly really said, I would do anything for you, would give you the world, anything, whatever you want or need, I will do it. I will fulfill your needs, wants, and desires. Do anything in the world for you, cross the ocean for you, whatever you need, except be a parent to our child that we have together. I will, buy you a house. I'll buy you a car. I'll fight off an intruder or assailant. But domestic labor, when it comes to our child that we have together, that I'm the father, you're the mother of, no, that's not included. That's not included. Did you read the fine print? Bro, like, y'all didn't have this conversation before you got pregnant? Before you carried this baby? Come on, bro. See, that Ashanti and Nelly shit, that's the reason why I'm pro-choice. That's exactly why I'm pro-choice. Nelly told Ashanti that he will not be changing any diapers. He will not be taking care of the baby until the baby can walk and talk on his own. Because that's ridiculous. That is honestly ridiculous. He said, prepare to basically be a single mama. After having a baby, I realized that a lot of y'all don't need to have babies. Y'all just don't. And Nelly like 40, bruh. He like 40. And he told his homeboys this too. And his homeboys just like laughing. Like, nobody even said, nigga, you don't think that's weird? He talked about how he sleeps through the night when a baby's crying. You don't even get up. Like, y'all, like, ladies, this is why I be trying to tell you, hey, do not have a baby. If you got second thoughts about that nigga, please believe that second thought and just go to the clinic. These niggas are terrible, bro. Until you actually have kids, because people tell you, like, hey, man, it's hard. And you be like, okay, I'm prepared, I'm ready, like, cool. But it's it's harder than what you expect. It's different. And only people with kids understand, man. Niggas said, niggas 40, bruh. Niggas basically said, I'm not doing shit. Niggas don't want to be a dad. Niggas don't want to do nothing. Ladies, just be careful who you get pregnant by. Just be careful, honestly, bruh. Just be careful. Like, oh my God, oh my goodness. Just niggas be 40, bruh. Niggas be 40.
We are back with a very unpopular opinion about your favorite 2000s couple, Nelly and Ashanti. If I'm being really honest, totally pontificating on people that I don't know, that don't even know that I live and breathe, right? Nelly didn't want to have no more kids. He wanted to be with Ashanti. Ashanti wanted to be a mother, as she has been very open and honest about. And this was kind of one of those things where a man does something to make you really, really happy, even though he could really take or leave it. Like, I think if Ashanti had said, you know what, I'm 42, whatever, like, I just don't want to do it now. Like, I would have wanted this 10 years ago. I don't want it anymore. I think Nelly would have been like, all right, next. I don't think he would have fought to have a child at this stage of his life, at the ripe age of 50. I think the moral of the story is when people show us who they are, we should believe them, because Nelly is showing up exactly how he said he would. He said effectively that he don't want to be a dad no more. He's raised all his kids. They are good and grown. If they're hungry, they can simply get on DoorDash and order the food they damn self. He's standing on business. Whether we like the business that people choose to stand on or not, separate conversation. But if somebody is standing on business, then they are standing on business. And Nelly is doing that, just not in a way that is nice. Do you want to run around after a toddler at 50 when you already got, 5, 6 other children of your own? Maybe not. And in Nelly's case, I think definitely not. And his workaround for that is that he was going to hire help. I think she thought that, like herself, the first time he hears this little baby cry in the middle of the night, he's going to jump up and he's going to get into daddy mode and he's going to change the poopy diapers and he's going to read the bedtime stories and he's gonna help with teething and help with weaning off of the boob and eating solid foods. And I think she thought it was just, talk, and that when baby actually came into play in a real way, that he would be on the same time that she's on. And I think a lot of women break our own hearts when men tell us what we don't want to hear, and we choose not to believe it because we think that the power of love is going to overcome the very set in stone things that they believe in. And we break our own hearts as women when we do that. And ultimately, from what I saw on the show, I do think that he loves her. I think that she loves him. I think they are a very beautiful couple. And this is just another cautionary tale that women will still continue to ignore, which is that when a man tells you who he is, believe him.
Ashanti Buki, that man don't like you. And the only reason why he married you was to humble you for leaving him all those years ago. Did you pay the rent? Good. Now let's get into the last episode of Nelly and Ashanti's We Belong Together before their season finale, because this man don't like her, and I think she needs to figure that out. And before we could even get into these clips, I want to hear from y'all in the comments. Do you watch this show? Because I have been watching it, and it is a literal train wreck. First, production, you messy. Now, there's a scene where Ashanti and Nelly and Ja Rule and his wife, I believe her name is Asia, they're all bowling, and Ja Rule asked them, well, where y'all staying at? In a way that Ashanti and Nelly didn't have an answer. And then literally the next scene was temporary apartment. Messy. Now, in a scene prior to that, Nelly and Ashanti go out to lunch, and she's talking to him about basically how he doesn't change the baby's diapers.
Just and the baby, that's a lot.
Well, listen, it's all you. I ain't gonna even lie. I ain't got nothing for him.
Absolutely not, I know.
Until he can say, I'm hungry. Until he can say, I need to use the bathroom. It's gonna be a lot of your now. But as soon as he started walking, I told him, I said, enjoy. Because as soon as he get to walking and talking, he with the crew.
I'm trying to understand, how is it that you just sleep through when he starts crying?
Do y'all really be up at night?
See, babe, that man don't like you. He don't like you or that baby. Now, the crazy part is after the scene, she calls her cousin, who happens to be her nanny, and the nanny is babysitting their baby, KK. And just check out Nelly's whole disposition as she's on the phone with their child.
Where is my baby?
Wait, I'm right here.
Hi, Mommy!
Hey.
Oh, Mommy, love you.
Why you don't never sound that excited when I call?
Hi! You talking?
I don't even know why I'm here.
Me and Nelly broke up a few times.
And you should have stayed broken up, but not at any given time did he ever ask her to turn the phone around so he could see his baby too. Why did nobody else pick up on that? That was strange. But the whole episode was a hot mess. There's a portion of the show where the producers ask Nelly, well, did you talk to your wife before you decided to schedule a 1-year tour? And he said, what do you mean talk to my wife? Like, Yeah, talk to your wife. And then the final scene is where Nelly is solidifying whether he's going to perform at the inauguration or not. And while Ashanti's mother, who happens to be her manager, says she's totally against it because her father was a civil rights leader, Ashanti didn't really give her whole point of view, whether she agreed with it or not. She just seemed kind of scared to even voice her own opinion. Now, her mother is explaining to her in that scene, hey, you need to voice your own opinion because I'm your manager. I'm not Nelly's manager. Now, in the season finale, we're going to be able to see the backlash that this couple had received after he had taken the offer to do the inauguration. And no, it's not pretty.
Why is it that women who have both their parents in their life still end up with a man that embarrasses her? I.e. Ashanti, Kiki Palmer. I said about 2 years ago that Ashanti should have never gone back to Nelly. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like women who have seen both of their parents together their entire life lack a certain discernment to recognize a dusty man. Because a lot of them are ending up in the same predicament as those of us who were raised in a single parent household. And those aunties like myself who tried to warn y'all that those men are dusty, we're called haters, we're said that we're miserable, and that we're projecting. Even Wendy Williams said never give a man a second chance to embarrass you. And the reason why I said that Ashanti shouldn't have gone back to Nelly was because she was in a vulnerable position. She has had an amazing career. She was close to her 40s or in her 40s without a kid. And she pretty much was living her best life traveling from island to island. And Nelly knew exactly what he was doing when he crossed that stage at that Versus to go hug her. And with social media, it just made it easy for him to get back into her life.
The clips from Nelly and Ashanti's new reality show have me worried for a few different reasons. First off, Ashanti just had a baby. She's breastfeeding, working. She's also learning how to navigate marriage and first-time motherhood with no local support system beyond her mom. And I don't think what she's asking for is unreasonable. She wants to move their family to New York City where she can be closer to resources, family, sister friends, and maybe even a postpartum doula. But Nelly is refusing to leave St. Louis. A man in his 50s with 6 adult children is refusing to move for his wife and newborn baby. I believe it's because St. Louis is where he feels like a big fish in a small pond. There he is Nelly, trademark. He's country grammar, hot in her, but in New York, he wouldn't have the same fame, the same pull, or the same power. Not as a rapper or as a man. What really made me pause was how jealous he is of the attention Ashanti gives their baby. That's not cute. That's not romantic. That's controlling. And it's actually dangerous. A grown man shouldn't be competing with his newborn for affection. And a postpartum mom should never feel like she has to apologize for taking care of her baby or missing their baby when she's away from them. It's very clear he is immature and he's insecure. She does not need a man acting like a second child. He proudly said he doesn't change diapers, doesn't wake up in the middle of the night, doesn't do feeding. I need y'all to understand, this isn't just about him being old school or lazy. That is a reflection of how little he understands or cares to understand about what a postpartum body really needs. And let's not pretend this is all just harmless. This is all just a man being aloof. No. Nelly's public support for Donald Trump tells you everything you need to know about his values. He clearly backs policies that rob women, especially black women, of reproductive freedom, financial autonomy, and dignity. So when he insists on keeping the family in conservative-ass Missouri instead of letting his wife move the family to liberal-ass New York City, where she might have more power and independence, oh baby, it tracks. And let's keep it real. This whole reality show was his idea. He said it in an interview. Ashanti didn't want to do it. We know she's always been pretty private, but Nelly pushed her to do it. Why? He's trying to rebrand. Yes. After the backlash from the Trump performance, drug arrests, gambling, this show is not about family. It's about him saving face. Ashanti, we love you, baby, but I hope you run fast and far. This whole thing is just looking like a man trying to control the narrative, the household, and you. I really don't care how many hits he's had. If a man cannot support you through motherhood and marriage with humility and care, but he wants you in front of a camera, pretty and smiling, he is not there to be a partner. He's there for PR.